Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everybody had a happy new year. I sure did. I spent my happy new year with my daughter, and I always love spending time with my daughter. It's great being a dad. I love being a daddy. If you have kids, you understand. If you don't, well, one day, if you allow it, and if you plan for it, or if it accidentally happens, you'll have kids too, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So, um, my first video I did, I introduced myself, and I gave a rough introduction of myself, where I'm from, and yeah, I mean, it all started with me with my passion for lifting weights, going to the gym. I mean, it all started when I was 13 years old, and like I said, I was about 185, and I started out powerlifting. Fast forward to now, I'm 34, 21, so roughly 21 years I've been training. I mean, I didn't really start taking it seriously up until recently, last couple years, leading up to me starting my business with fitness and coaching. I don't just coach fitness, I do mindset as well, and lifestyle. So it's been quite the journey, and like to reflect on everything I've been through with the process. It's been incredible. And the most important part about journeys that you embark on is how you got there. Like when you get, I mean, there never really is a final destination, but what you got to take from any journey that you embark on is it's the process itself, the journey itself. That's what you need to fall in love with, and that's where you get all your knowledge from, your experience from. So then you can share that with other people and how you achieved all of this, like how you got to where you are today. So now, me by any means, like I don't consider myself superior, super successful or anything, but I will say that I have gone much further than more than I've known in my life. I've done a lot more than I know in my life, more people than I know in my life. I've done a lot of dangerous things. My life has been full of adventure the last, I would say, 6, 7 years of my life. I've been all over the country traveling. Um, like I said, I was from Morenci, Michigan, which is a small town, and I love where I'm from. I'm proud of where I'm from, and I'll never forget where I'm from. And I'm proud to be from Morenci, Michigan. And but that place, there was nothing there for me. I needed to get out and go see the world. Because that town was like my bedroom. I needed to get out of my bedroom. So, but I left Morenci, Michigan I think about 7 years ago now, and I left buying a train ticket to Williston, North Dakota. Now, I have a buddy out there, a friend of mine, her and her husband out there. They invited me to come out there. And they did for a year straight, invited me to come out there. And finally, I said, all right, you know what, let's do this. But originally what was holding me back was like I had gotten into some trouble, and I didn't have a license. I got my license suspended because I had a DUI, which is, you don't want to do that. I mean, I learned my lesson. I learned that's a mistake I made, and I will never do that again, trust me. So that's another story. Anyways, I really held off on going out there because I didn't really have a license. It was suspended. But when I paid on my fines, they reinstated it. And this is the state of Michigan, by the way, which, my opinion, the way they operate with everything, to me, the way they operate with everything for vehicles and whatnot, it's all a racketeer, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know if it's changed recently or not, but anyways, yeah, that was all that held me back. But I went out there, I did get my license reinstated when I was out there. Before it was suspended, and I was like, well, I'll go to the DMV in North Dakota and see what they say. And obviously, they turned me around because it becomes national when your license is suspended. So I went in there and they said, I'm sorry, we can't issue you a North Dakota driver's license because it says here that, suspended. I'm like, okay. So I go back that day, go back home. Next day, call them up, call the DMV back in Michigan, get my license reinstated. I think I paid like $100 to get it reinstated. Went to the North Dakota DMV and showed up and they said, all right, and took my license. I surrendered it, got me a North Dakota license. So in the oil field, it's a big freaking deal to have a driver's license. If you don't have a driver's license, it is so damn hard to get a job because the main reason why a lot of people don't have any license up there is because they start making all this money and then they get freaking stupid about it, start drinking and driving, and they get in trouble with the law, and then they get their license taken away from them. But what saves them most of the time is their skill and their knowledge of what they know what they're doing in the oil field. So, but a lot of companies, they don't tolerate that. So it was hard for me to get a job there for a while because I didn't have a license. But then I finally got my license, and the first job I got was I was a well caser for DC Power Tongue. And that's not what I originally wanted. But I worked that job for 3 months on call 24/7. Each job we did, it was no less than 20 hours. We were tripping in a well casing in the big drilling rigs. So we go on these big drilling rigs, on the land, and because they got offshore, in the ocean, but these are on land. So we got these big drilling rigs. Um, we get up there and we have this thing called a pipe skate. What the pipe skate would do is it would take the well casing and slide it up the ramp all the way up to the thing called a V door, and there would be bales and elevators hanging up top. It's what they use to go up and down. Tripping in pipe, tripping out pipe, and we would use the special elevators to latch on to the well casing. We'd use our own elevators, and so did that for like 3 months. And honestly, that was a fun job. I mean, that really was a fun job. I mean, I think the longest job I ever got stuck on was like 33 hours. I mean, we were like 20 hours in, 21 hours in, and we had like 14 more pipes to go. And the last pipe's the hanger. It's the top. And what happened was we got stuck on some shale. So for 12 hours, the driller was just going up and down, trying to get past this shale. Oh my God, it was just ridiculous. They actually switched shifts in the middle of that. Anyways, yeah, it was a great experience, man. That was my first taste of oil field money. Bought my first truck. Um, yeah, I went back to Michigan and bought my first truck actually. So like I worked there for about 3 months, went back to Michigan, got the rest of my stuff at the apartment I was staying at. I had a buddy that he was the head of the household, so and he just watched my stuff for me while I was gone, and bless his heart, man, he's a good guy. Um, he watched my stuff, so I came back 3 months later and bought my first truck, got a U-Haul trailer, got all my stuff packed up and hauled all my stuff out of there. I took a buddy with me back, got him a job in the oil field, and back to Williston, North Dakota. I mean, it was a hell of an experience, man. So 3 months that, and then I got the job offer I wanted, being a roughneck, Pioneer Well Service. Started that job in I think May 2000. This is back in like 2000. It was 2000, I think, the end of 2017, beginning of 2018 when I did this, when I started. So after 3 months, I got that job with Pioneer Well Service, and we were doing workover. So it was a workover rig. So now I went from a really big rig to a small rig. And so I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I've been on the biggest rigs and the smallest rigs. And Pioneer, man, that was a good job. I loved it. That's great people to work with. And I did that for roughly 9 months, almost a year. But then I met my ex-wife, which that's another story. So, anyways, yeah, it's been quite a journey, man. Like I look back on my life, and that being that initial moment, that leap of faith I took, like I grew up without a father. Okay, I haven't mentioned that yet, but I grew up without a father. My dad passed away when I was 2 years old, so I had all these role models in my life. I had great father figures in my life that helped show me the way. They helped lead the way. They helped me, develop me into the man I am. So I took a page from all these different men's books and wrote my own story. So I was very lucky and blessed to have that. The town that I was from, that I am from, like people there, they really did take care of me, and they took care of everyone. That's just the way it was. Um, but what I'm getting at is growing up without a father, I never really had an initiation into manhood. So, and what I mean by that is a son and his father. A father will take his son on a journey or an adventure, could be 1, 2 weeks long, and that father puts his son to the test. And that's the initiation to manhood. Tribes do it with, Native Americans did it. All kinds of, and back in the olden days, like that's how they did it. That's how a boy transitions to man. So I took it upon myself and just like I said, I bought my plane, my shit. Sorry, I bought my train ticket, and I had $300. It was $261, I think. So I had maybe a little less than $40 left after I bought that train ticket from Big Rapids, Michigan. I went up to Grand Rapids, the train station, Grand Rapids, Michigan, rode that train all the way down the state of Michigan. Like I went through Chicago, I think, or not Chicago, but yeah, I went through Illinois and all that, all the way to North Dakota. And that was a hell of a train ride. That was long. It took me such a long time, but it was beautiful though. I mean, the landscape was beautiful, and you saw like everything. And once we got out to the Great Plains though, like holy crap. So flat, no trees, windy, cold. It was in the middle of the winter too. So I picked a hell of a time to really get out to North Dakota. But yeah, that right there was like it was a leap of faith. It was sink or float. Well, to me it's fly. And I took that leap of faith in 2017, and I've been flying ever since. And this will be another story for another time, but I mean, that's where it all started for me, was initially leaving Michigan, and I felt like my life finally truly began. So 27, I was 27 going on 28, because I turned 28 when I went with Pioneer Well Service. So but that's when it felt like my life truly began, took my leap of faith, my initiation into manhood, and I proved to myself that I was more than capable of making it happen, and showing myself, proving myself that I could survive out in the real world. So yeah, I mean that's a very big part of me. But events leading up before that, there's a lot more. Like I said, I mean I got so much more to share, but that was a piece that I wanted to start out with and get out there, and to prove that if you're out there and you're struggling and you just don't know and you're unsure, my advice is to, yeah, it's scary, but being scared is a good thing. Change is a good thing. And some people are scared of change. And you have to face change, and you have to face being scared. You have to face your fears every single day. The more you face your fears, the more they'll die. So don't be afraid. Just get out there, take your leap of faith, take your chances. Because if you don't, you're gonna stay right where you're at, and you're not gonna go anywhere else. And that right there, that is, to me, that's committing spiritual suicide. Not finding what it is that you're meant to do in this world.